Hey guys, it's Angel. Welcome back to the channel, and we're down here at Ione in northern Washington, and that's a fence. Let's hop into the Beaver, shall we? Well, we're taking a little flight today up to Castlegar. It's not going to be too long in particular, but we are checking out Pro Flow whilst we do it. Or Flow Pro. That's going to be a tongue twister. Now, we looked at Parallel 42's Flow freeware version last week. Now I have a copy of Pro, and my god, I love it. That's the wrong page. Let's go back to the front page, shall we? Okay, so here is Flow Pro. Now, we've got their new weather system here, which is... I love it. Click a weather. You know what? I fancy some rain. Ooh, let's do drizzly rain. Let's do light rain. Moderate rain. Well, that's a bit... it's a bit much. Heavy rain. Oh, that's really heavy. Heavy rain and wind. We could do that. You know what? It's a bit miserable. Let's get something cloudy. Low level clouds. Epic clouds. That's pretty epic. Ooh, epic ultra high level clouds. Ooh, stunning. Look at that. Yeah, no, this is a really customizable tool, and I absolutely love how it actually ends up looking. Just keep things simple for now. So we can go back to the main menu here. Now for cameras, this is where things get cool. We now have this functionality, and one of the reasons why we haven't seen Chase Plane for MSFS is due to there being no camera API yet from Asobo. So when there is one, from what they've said, they'll do one. But in the meanwhile, we can now go between our pilot views like ain't nobody's business. Just flick, flick. Oh, we want to go external? We can go external. Oh, hello, the Sims being its usual special self. And we've even got some showcase cameras. Like this. We could have, you know, GoPro views on the aircraft, which are fantastic for screenshots and other views. I particularly love this kind of camera angles. They look really, really good. Let's go back to the cockpit, shall we? Let's open this again. Oh, we're in the co-pilot seat. That's useful. Now, weight and balance. In some cases, these are still default windows. That's going to vary, obviously. But we do have, for example, Portal. This is cool. Now, I can just type an ICO here. So, KORS, Orcas Island. It'll find it. And I can go there. I'm not going to do it now because it goes from, like, the way it loads in as you go to a new location is The Sims doing, not Parallel 42, by the way. You'll go FS98, FS2000, 2002, 2004, FSX, then Microsoft Flight Simulator. Now, if I have any friends on, and I don't have any friends because I'm sad, you can find where they are. And you can go to them. You can even change parking spot if you really want to. Fantastic little utility, this. Now, obviously, campout's there, weight and balance is there, engine controls, but here's the thing I absolutely adore. We've got things like autopilot controls, which we will test out in flight today. We've got door controls, which, by the way, hell yes. Do you want to pop my doors open? Oh yeah, look at that, we have doors. And they are that simple to control that it's... Okay, I'll close them now. No more reaching around to go and try and find the right click spot inside the aircraft or pulling up tablets. You can just open up the doors, which is so kick-ass. METAR function? Oh, I think this is I23. Let's go for METAR for Orcas. I know that ICO at least. No. I am very special. I need to leave a space. I'm still learning this system myself, and we can pull up a METAR here. Useful, huh? Now, we can even search on Wikipedia. Wikipedia. Beaver. Oh, the actual Beaver. I mean, yeah, it depends on what you actually enter to type, but these functions are all there. We've got calculators. Again, stop pressing the escape button, you idiot. Auto can search things as well. Now, the cool part is if we go back to the start here, and come on. Oh yeah, we'll go to this. Now, we can actually assign all sorts of epic functions. If I go to that last page where I have space now, and go to, we can create scripts here. We could export stuff. We can even assign things like setting aircraft position. We can add fuel. We can toggle electrical functions. We can change the sim rate. We can quit the simulator, landing gear, parking brakes, trims. There is so much here. We can turn on all sorts of functions from this simple menu. Now, people that said, oh, well, I mean, you know, Flow, it seems kind of just a different menu. This is no longer a different menu. This is a game changer at this point because, like I said from the video they showed of the Pro functions, this is what it can do. It can even attach to your Twitch if you stream. You can even look at dev systems. You can look at weather. You can even have specific weather set to a preset on a flow wheel. Times of day. There are calculators. You can even calculate things like top of descent. It's epic. These functions are really ingenious. Anyway, enough about this. We'll play with some of these on the way, but it's time to get ourselves moving here, so I shall... Am I... Oh, right, I'm still setting a flow camera. We'll just change that back real quick, because I tabbed through too many functions. Cameras, let's go to Pilot 1. There we go, Pilot 2. That's our default view. So, let's get our baby started up, shall we? Go, we'll set that to there. Systems are on. Some fuel pressure in this thing. Prime the engine a little bit. Let's make sure we have our systems on here. Crack the throttle. Parking brake is set. Wonderful. Transponder is on. That is where we need to have it. Fuel pressure is good because the boost pump's on. So let's go for an engine start, shall we? Let's make sure we tighten off the oil filter cap before we do anything further. Engine start. Excellent. I love this, the plane, just the way the engine tones, the pump tone changes as you get the fuel flow to it. Lovely. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Okay, so we don't need you anymore. You can go away for now. Wait for us to get a GPS connection and we'll switch it across to our run to Castlegar. It's a short run up the valley, but we'll play with some more features on the way and get to really experiment with this. So let's turn my head on here. Let's take ourselves out, shall we? And I will include the link to this scenery, by the way, in the description. This is Ione. It's a freeware scenery. And it's from flightsim.to. I will include that for you all in the descripciones. It's a gorgeous little airport. There's even a 415 there. There we go. That's a bit too many flaps. Okay, let's give her some goose and let's get her out of here. There she goes, tails up. Airspeed's good. Let's ease back on the controls and try and keep the rudder straight. We are flying relatively southerly right now. We'll have to turn around once we get airborne. That should be no problem for us. Let's keep the power and climb. Pull that back. And notch that best aft of lean. And pull the flaps in. Okay, right, let's get ourselves turned around, shall we? Gorgeous little spot of northern Washington. If you like flying in the Pacific Northwest, this is a great little airport to add to your collection. Anyway, like I said from the previous video, just the little tiny features that you had with even the simplicity of using Flow over the default menu with the freeware version. Pro and obviously Essentials, well, and Essentials is available to console. Just brings so much more. And we'll play with some of those today as we're flying, and we'll get ourselves set up here. We'll get ourselves on a nice cruising altitude, and then we'll set the autopilot up and we'll set that going. In fact, I'm just going to quickly check on Flow now and see what it wants to do. Of course, we can see what our current RPM is from the engine there. So let's try this. Autopilot's on. Heading hold. Altitude hold. Does it do anything yet? Again, I'm messing with a lot of these functions. I'm not quite 100% on what it's going to do yet, because whilst we've got some material and information on the actual behavior flow, there is not the manual for us yet. So when I make mistakes, it's because I don't know. But we are actually, Autopilot is set to heading hold right now, so we'll switch it over to nav hold, which will bring us back on track here, and we are not holding altitude, but we'll set that in a second. So what are we currently at? 4,000 feet? I do love it when the Microsoft Autopilot decides to take you on it's a clear, just ridiculous route when it could just nudge me over slightly to rejoin the actual track line, rather than having to go all the way straight to it and then onwards. We are set to arm there, which means we'll need to nudge up our vertical speed a smidgen, and we'll get playing. Okay, I'm going to just turn my head off here. As it drops us down to 4,400, I'll pull the power back here. Get ourselves set up as we need to be. This looks like it's going to take me right over a mountain. I do love it when it does that. Let's move that heading bug around instead. And we'll switch to heading hold. Which, if I actually have this set up properly, means if I just do that now, my heading bug selected, we'll play with some of these functions, see what we can actually make it do. And that's going to turn me on course there. Rather than to fiddle with the autopilot functions down there, I can now do it through flow. So let's actually take a look at that, shall we? Let's see what we can actually do with our autopilot functions. As we go to hold edit, this is our autopilot panel. So let's take a look here as we look for instruments. We've got rotor brake controls, water rudder controls, tail hooks. Sometimes that's a useful one because that's not always set. Let me just quickly get out of flow for a second while I have to encourage this to the right. That's the left, not the right, thank you. Oh, I'm scrolling the wheel the wrong way. I do love feeling like an expert sometimes. We'll just skirt around the mountain and follow the valley north. That should be just fine for us. Keep ourselves turning until we're no longer in a particularly perilous location. And we'll set some of those functions up here. So let's take ourselves up to 6.5. Altitude hold off. Arm on. 500 feet on vertical speed. Watch an idiot use an autopilot simulator. 0, 0, 0. There we go. Okay, let's play with some of these functions, shall we? Back to the main screen. I'm still getting used to some of these inputs. I keep clicking off things I don't intend to. So we'll go to our autopilot page. So, autopilot functions. We've got master, we've got speed, we've got heading, altitude, and VS. So we have these here right now. I don't know how I actually change these. That's the interesting point. It will show me what it's set to, but I don't believe currently I can actually fully do that. We've got our trim resets. They're relatively useful, but we do have all our light configurations here, which are cool to use. Let's close that one down. Instruments. Don't need any of those on here. Let's move that to the side slightly, make sure I'm not going to fly into a mountain. You never want to do that. It's typically bad for the aeroplane. But being able to see what the current autopilot numbers are actually at and actually, to an extent, control them is useful. We can at least turn it on and off. Once we find other ways to assign other sim variables, we should be able to put a select, almost. Either plus, minus, it may work, it may not. It depends how you actually try and set things up. But, for example, we want to go back up towards, where is it now? I had it. So these are the autopilot controls here. We've got our master button, we've got heading, altitude, vertical speed. Close that one down there. Now, engine-wise, it can show toggle, so you can actually control E from flow without needing to do so. And these are the stock MSFS panels. Let's take a look at the script. we'll put that on there. So I can't click it. I may need to be on the ground and have the aircraft off to actually use that one, which is not a big deal. Let's go back in here and play with some more of these as we go through it. I'm learning as much as you're learning. I played with this beforehand. I've been playing with this weekend, and it boggles me how many options there are. Like, it really does. It blows my mind how many options we can actually control here. And I put time on the main page. Let's go back. I think I put time on the main page. I always go back too many clicks and close out of it. We did not set time on the main page, so we will replace the engine one because it's not that relevant. I'll leave it where it is. You can move them around by clicking and dragging, by the way, so if you want it in a different place, you can. So we'll replace the engine one with time. We're going to proceed with that. And we will exit the editor. And when we hit time, we can change our time by literally clicking and dragging through an entire day-night cycle. Just click and drag. Oh, that was stunning. Ooh, pretty. We're going to change time at will. How cool is that? Like, if you set it there, I want to set it here. You can just click. You don't have to drag, you can just click. But the sky is changing around me. That is wicked sick. I love that function. Let's try some of these views while we're actually in the aircraft, shall we? Just the ease of switching through these is super cool. Absolutely love it. Autopilot 2. So obviously cameras are very useful. Weather. We can see what the current weather is where we are, which is very useful. And that's not a feature we had before. Now, with the stock sim, it showed us, you could see where it is at a certain airport you're going to, but now we can actually see it live, moving in front of us. And we are wildly off course now. Swing that through to 330. Terrain shouldn't be an issue for us now. We'll return on course. About 12 minutes out here, so it should be just fine. We're on our time schedule for what we're expecting. Nudge it in a bit more to the left. We're essentially going to be spending most of this flight playing with flow because there's just so much we can do with it. And I really love that. So we're off vertical speed mode now because we're done climbing. In fact, we are done climbing, so there we go. If I wanted to, for example, set a specific thing for the Beaver, I could do exactly that. But once again, too many clicks. I think it's one of these things I'll get used to as I use it more. See, I like to try and use this, like I do a review, I like to come into them blind to an extent. I want to, obviously I need to know where certain things are and how they work, but I want to come into them like you do. Completely green, really. Because if I come into them knowing everything, it's not exactly going to be very useful to you if I just know everything. Yeah, it helps for an in-depth review, but you're going to think, oh my god, this looks so easy to use, and you come to use something and it's very hard to use. And then you struggle and go, what? This is awful, I hate it. Whereas if I'm coming into this with the basic knowledge you'll have, and the same understanding, you're going to see me working through this and know that without much experience, you can use this very easily. We'll just set a couple of weathers. You know what, I really would like to have cool and crisp as a weather option here. We'll use those. Now when it comes to the Beaver itself, this is where we start to make our own flows. Now, I'm going to go to doors. I want door 1, 2, 3, and 4 for this specific aircraft. Now I'm going to close weather. Don't want that one. I do, however, most likely want... If I was in the float plane version, that'd be useful to have on there, wouldn't it? Rather than to look around the cockpit and reach for it. Don't have landing gear, not a big concern for me. What else might I want? Sim rate? Nah. Quit simulator? Who even quits the simulator, right? So we can reset our battery, that's a useful one. You can actually reset the charge, which is very helpful. Position, we don't want to reset any organizations, we don't need that for this aircraft. And we don't really need the engine readout for this. What I am, however, going to do is It'd be nice to be able to go into the camera's subfolder here. We can create a folder. Ooh. I'm going to name it this in case this actually works. We could set an icon for it too. Oh yeah, this is nice. Need something camera-y. Oh, they're all standard icons. So we will use, for Beaver cameras, because I'm feeling like it, this one. Yeah, that works. So if I go into here, it opens a new folder, essentially. So I can put all my things in there, and off the same Beaver screen, just go to everything I want from a click. Yeah, I really wish cameras were on here. But I think that would require the same functionality that the camera screen that pops up gives us. It would need to actually... That's using the same technically in-game keybinds to actually access those. Whereas we couldn't have them separately assigned, which would be really nice. As we're going to put time... We're not going to put time on this one. We'll go back up. Go up a folder. Boom. So right now, these are the things I want on my weight and balance. I want weather, ATC, camp out, my doors are there. This, I don't want it. I will delete it. What I will put on here, though, is portal, because I might want to go somewhere else. And obviously this allows us to check for updates for the actual program. This we can export our scripts we're working with. Obviously we're not doing that, so that's not really a concern. I will, however, put on this. Pitot heat is pretty useful to actually have. That's MSFS meter, we don't want that. That would suck horribly. So these are all our weather presets. We can put these in a folder on here if we wanted to. You know what? Let's ditch this. We will make a folder for weathers that we might actually want to use. We're making flows. We have a weathery icon. Let's pick something weathery for this. I'm going to have a cowboy for the weather. Why not? Okay, so what are the weather conditions I really like using in the sim? So obviously one of my stock ones for reviews is to use the few clouds. It's a pretty good weather. And the WPP ones, Weather Preset Pros, these are fantastic weathers. Ooh, got typical storms to use. Typical English day. We'll have that one because it's probably going to be rain. Ooh, snow flurries are fantastic. We'll go with that one. And misty is very cinematic. Moderate gusts is actually basically death-inducing. Hurricane conditions, yeah, that's fun. We'll go for... Where is it? There's a great breezy one, which is absolutely terrifying to fly in. Breezy, that's the one. That is evil to fly. Big and bold is a good one. Blazing sun is good. And blizzard. And we'll just put building storms on there just to have fun with it. So we'll close this down. And we'll not press the escape button. That would be a bad idea. Keep doing that, don't I? So we'll jump out of our folder. So say we're on the main screen here. Too many clicks. Maybe that is something. Oh yeah, because we go off the last mark and it clicks the open space and boom, it goes away. So that's more of a me clicking too fast sort of situation. So let's go to our Beaver one. Where's our Beaver specific screen? So Pitot heat on, Pitot heat off. I don't really want to use MSFS weather, but I do want to go to my weather folder, and I'm going to set snow flurries. Oh dear, Jeebus. That's slightly better, but that's terrifyingly dark. Blazing sun. See how the aircraft's being thrown around by these changes in how it's behaving? Ooh, yeah. Let's just go back to our favourite few clouds. Nice. Back up here. Doors won't work in the air with this aircraft, so that's not even something we're going to mess with. But we'll probably replace this with the actual flow weather at some point. and be absolutely sorted. I'm going to close this out though, because we're arriving towards Castlegar now, and I have to worry about landing. So, ooh, that gives me an opportunity to use a flow again. Oh, I opened it in the side window because my mouse is over there. Okay, where are we? Autopilot disengaged. That's simple. Now, there is a big piece of news here, which is kind of coming late in this video, but that is whatever. It was uncertain, with VR being a difficult workspace, if it would come for VR. I can now tell you categorically the answer to that question is yes, it will be available for VR. So if you are a VR user, you will be able to use Flow. Now, they're making improvements to it, they've found a way to make it work, and they're working to improve it. Caveat, VR's a messy workspace for developers, as you probably found out already as a VR user. Now, yes, it will function. They found a way to make it behave itself and actually work, which means this kind of tool for VR will be incredibly useful. That's exciting. And I think for the console users, this will also be a hugely advantageous thing to have for them with controller support, because it will make navigating through menus and when you've set things up super fast, and you'll require way less button clicks to get to what you want to actually access than you would before, which is super useful. So Castlegar's down below us, just below this cliff we're about to drop over, and we'll be in there in no time whatsoever. I'm really excited about this system. It is really fun. It is really user-friendly in terms of what I want to do with the aircraft, and it's made accessing a bunch of these things so much more efficient. And doors is a huge one for me. That is a massive plus for me, because it's always been cumbersome, especially if you have an aircraft where there's a back door in the aircraft and you have to work out how to get back there with the camera to open it, and there's no tablet function for that door to open. You can do it all now for Flow. For me, that makes Flow worth it. Castlegar's down below us just here, so let's drop our nose down a tad here, so we're going to be diving a little bit. We've got a lot of altitude to lose in not a much amount of time. In fact, let me just speed the process up, shall we? Okay. Mary Poppins' parasol is out. Let's go down, shall we? Inappropriate use of an aircraft? Check. Let's turn my head back on here. What should we make the runway from this altitude? Yeah, we can do this. We can make this landing. This is ridiculously unconventional, but I don't care because it's fun. That's what the sim's about, right? I might actually struggle, though, at this altitude. Let's help it along, shall we? Ooh. There we go. I need more control input. Dropping like a stone. That's it. That's it, baby. Come on. That's it. Gotta be a little careful when you've got a full slip on with a Beaver with full flaps, because it's like a rock trying to be thrown through another rock. Oh, there we go. Nice. The trick with deploying full flaps and using it as a parachute to go down is best done at below flap, safety speeds, at which point you've got so much drag you can just drop out of the sky, which is super useful. And then you can land, as my sim decides it really hates actually existing in the 21st century. Boing. Little bit of a hop. Not my silkiest, but I'll take it, considering we came down about 3,000 feet to get here. If this is if this was a real Beaver and I had it in real life, I would never land like that. God. I'd never want to hurt the poor baby. But yeah, no, Flow is so cool. Like, even what I just did in this flight, and we spent a good 20 minutes messing with Flow, it's the tip of the iceberg. It really is just the absolute tip of a crazy iceberg. Imagine sub-functions created by developers for their particular aircraft that you can now have into a flow page. Like, come on. Like, I can have folders on the Beaver page leading me to all sorts of systems and controls and options. It's insane. And it really gives us so much flexibility and options when it comes to the aircraft's operation in terms of how much easier it becomes for us that I'm excited to see where it goes even from this point onwards. Let's park her up over here. That will do just nicely. Parking brake on, which I could set through flow, but I haven't, because I probably should. And power off. Oh, hi Sim. Wow. Oh, and there's an update for flow. Would you believe that? It even tells me. Oh. Welcome to Flow. Initial releases. Oh, hello. There you go. Useful information. Very nice. I would keep your eyes on this thing, because it's exciting. And I'm looking forward to seeing where they take it. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.